Well, welcome back. Welcome to Tarot to a T. We had a Jack of Spades. I haven't even announced who it's for, but we'll see if that card comes out, because sometimes I suspect Spirit knows things before I do. Matter of fact, I know it does. Anyway, if this is your first time, welcome. It's very lively here. We got a 6 of clubs. Yep. We're hopping. This reading was meant to happen, and that was not anything discernible there. That was just too many cards. So I'm going to cut to the chase here. Welcome if you're returning. Welcome if you're brand new. I'm doing a mid-August 2022 reading for the sign of Aries. That's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling Aries. So we're going to go ahead, because it's literally popping out at me. I think Aries has got an urgent message. I don't mean to be funny or corny or anything, but I think it's urgent. A lot of times I feel like when I shuffle, I kind of get the sense of, I don't know, the tone of the reading, I guess you could say. Aries. Aries. It's too many cards, and now we need cards of advice. Yes, okay. I think I just ended up with the same cards I dropped. It would not surprise me a bit. This is freaking wild. I mean, sometimes they do jump at me like that, but whoa, dude. Nope, putting those back. That's like half the deck. Couple more cards of advice, and I'll jump right into it. I have no problem just jumping right into it. You know, no chit chat, whatever. Okay, let's do it. Aries, what are you looking at? Queen of Clubs. Not a bad authority, female authority figure type of energy. Does not have to be a literal person. Could be energy that you're representing, because it does represent a fire sign. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. 2 of Diamonds. You got some balance and harmony occurring in your area of abundance, finances, success, partnerships. You have the 7 of Diamonds. You have a warning here. Whatever's going on with your finances, avoid gambling. Avoid taking unnecessary risks. Don't spend excessively, lavishly. Put on the brakes. I'm hearing put on the brakes. Yeah, I think you have an issue with finances right now. 9 of Clubs. So something completed for you, which may have led to you having an abundance at the moment. Okay. This is achievement. This is being quite pleased with yourself. Like you put some plans into motion probably a while back, and they have come to completion. And you've achieved what you set out to achieve. That's what I started to say. We're definitely going to ask for more cards. That doesn't tell me a whole lot. I think you're this Queen of Clubs. That's really not a bad energy. I mean, there's nothing I could say about that except I view the Queens as having power and authority like a king. It's just that it's more gentle, it's more subtle, comes at the same level of authority and control. It's just a different approach. And it's definitely fire sign energy with the clubs. What else can you tell me about Aries? 6 of Hearts. Interesting. So you just had some new opportunities pop up for you, or you're about to in mid-August. This is also the card of negotiation and compromise being made, or I'm going to back up here because this is also the card of relationships are now fair game. Like I'm feeling that maybe you were closed off to relationships for a while. The 6 of Hearts actually says that there's now a clear path to pursuing relationships on a higher level than you have in the past. Does that make sense? Like maybe career or some kind of business venture has been your focus for now, for a while, like even years maybe. And now you have new opportunities and paths to pursue relationships. So keep that in mind as the days unfold. You might be, it might not be obvious yet what those opportunities are. You know, it might be just like, I don't know, serendipitous events, meeting people at certain places, engagements, things you're invited to, and you meet like people that way, like, you know, surprise meetings, that kind of thing. Like you weren't looking for love, but there it was, and these guys came out together. So you'd have the King of Clubs. We again have a fire sign presence here. This could be you. Now this came out with the Eight of Diamonds, so you definitely have some mastery and control financially, because this is the Pentacles in the traditional tarot deck. I did want to mention that, but also this is the entrepreneurial card, if I could say it. This is about hard work paying off. You've put a lot of time and energy, I think, into some kind of business venture. I mean, yeah, of course, starting a business on your own, but that you're past like starting it. It's like it's matured. You're reaping the payout from it. You're reaping the freedom of creating your own abundance. And you have got real strong, dominant energy around that with this King of Clubs. It came out with it literally in tandem. And it would make sense what I was just saying about now, that the door is open for you to pursue relationships, Aries. Obviously, this is for a very specific Aries, or a group of Aries. Arians, I don't know what you call them. A group of Aries. Not Arids. Wouldn't call them Arids. That sounds kind of silly. 4 diamonds. Excuse me, you have a windfall. If we didn't already know you're loaded. I'm being sarcastic here. This quite literally is the windfall card. And this is about having a very secure foundation at home, a family, or just your home life is very, very stable and secure. But I don't really think we needed to hear that. It's just like, you're doing really well financially, but I do have to mention, because we have the warning over here with the gambling and excessive spending, I think you might be enjoying it just a little bit too much. Because this is also the warning about not overspending. I think you're enjoying a very secure, higher level of living than you've ever had before. And you've got all kinds of warnings here about overspending. So if you have been overspending and you've been like just a bit too generous with your money, being lavish, I think it's time to stop. It's time to put the brakes on that. I think I said that earlier. I think I used the same language. Put the brakes on it. I'm going to keep pulling a couple cards here for Aries before we look at our cards of advice. I think the advice is don't overspend, you know, in capital letters. 8 of Hearts. So you definitely on this pursuing this path of fulfilling some kind of emotional needs with this. This is work. This is going ahead. Not just going ahead, but things are advancing in this area of your life. That's what I was trying to say. I just didn't word it quite how I wanted to. But so things are moving ahead in this area of your life. So get ready. If you haven't already pursued more social avenues, they're getting ready to happen. This literally is the social butterfly card. This is getting out and meeting people, having parties, spending time with family and friends, and as I said, potentially meeting somebody who's going to become very significant for you. It's going to be a very significant relationship. Pretty strong because you had the 6 of Hearts out there too. that's on your doorstep, literally. If you haven't already, it's on your doorstep. Let's look at your cards of advice. Besides not overspending. Six of Diamonds, new opportunities and finances. Okay. But it's also about taking financial responsibility. So if you have lingering debts or things that you haven't attended to, like home repairs, that kind of thing, major things, this is kind of pointing in that direction that you need to take those opportunities now that you can to take care of those things. This also came out with the Black and White Joker. Now I look at the Joker energy as being things like kind of moving around and not being settled. It's also the Fool card in the traditional tarot. And the Fool card, you might have your own definition of that or sense of what that means for you, but the Fool card for me means there's a little bit naivety involved. You're a student of something. You're green. You're literally not in the know. You don't know what's really going on. That came out with the Six of Diamonds, so I think you have a little bit of catching up to do in the area of financial responsibility. I think this reading has screamed, take financial responsibility. Get away from the lavish spending, okay? But the shifting around with the Joker energy, I don't know, maybe you got a lot of moving parts. Maybe you have like different properties. I'm sensing somebody with different properties that you manage, like you rent out places, that kind of thing. Or maybe, we're not talking like apartment complexes. Maybe you have a couple of small houses or modular homes or whatever, and you rent those out. So you have things that need attending to. Three of Spades, you have a third party or third element involved, some kind of energy that is contributing to this, I would say, opportunities and needs that need to be taken care of financially. I don't know, maybe you have a partner. Well, no, because we talked about you meeting somebody. Now, if you are hooked up, this could be the partner that's maybe using the finances, and they're the ones that are using the money in the way that you need to put the brakes on. If you're single, though, I think you obviously are going to meet somebody. If you're hooked up, whoever you're going to meet is not necessarily going to be romantic. Because, we can meet very significant people that never end up being our partner in life, but we feel like a very strong spiritual connection to in some way, even as like a business partner or as a very close friend. But this is kind of bad news because this is about worry and being stressed out. It could be that you're doing the spending and you have another person around you who's worried about your spending. Or flip it over, you're worried about their spending. Eight of Spades. So you've worked hard. You've worked hard to achieve what you have. Okay, this is the workaholic card. There are a lot of challenges along the way, but you've overcome them. And the eights are also about getting past that and not being stuck in that. But I see here that there was a significant amount of stress involved in your past, or it could be still going on if you're still involved in like this business. And I have a feeling it's a pretty substantial business venture. It's not just an eBay store. It's like huge. Like you have employees and you have property that you own where you operate out of. I mean, you're very well established because there's major money and abundance in this scenario. There still could be some stress over to the tendency to be over involved and overworking. I've known people who have owned businesses, and they don't have to be huge businesses, honestly, that they will run themselves into the ground because they'll never stop working. Even in their 80s, they're still very much involved. It kind of becomes a habit. It becomes a fun challenge to see how far you can go. I totally get that. I don't have that personality, but I know people that do. People who are really good business owners and successful business owners, they have this side of them that just can't stop. They just can't stop. They have to keep working at it no matter what, even if they are successful. And the Seven of Hearts. So you are experiencing some kind of disappointment, probably around a person. It could be this Three of Spades energy. That's why I hesitated here, because we were just talking about a third element. This is kind of the broken heart card, like being pretty let down by somebody. Now, we don't have to talk about romance. It still could be somebody around you that has let you down. Maybe business-wise. Like a business partner, a manager, somebody who's could be on your same level, or somebody right below you that has really like let you down in some way. I'm kind of sensing that there's some advice here about, because we started off with the Six of Diamonds and things kind of shifting around and needing to take financial responsibility. I'm kind of seeing that maybe money needs to be spent wisely in this business venture, because it's potentially going to lead to a huge disappointment and some significant stress. It's also perhaps the way you could read this is that's what you're afraid of. So you can't stop working. You can't stop putting the effort and the energy into it. You're like obsessed with you're, I wouldn't say obsessed about failing, but like deeply, deeply fearful of failing. Something along those lines. Any more cards of advice we can give Aries, who's apparently very successful but also still has a lot of stress involved and worry involved in their success? I guess it kind of goes hand in hand. I don't know. Jack of Hearts, Two of Clubs came out at the same time. Jack of Hearts, to me, this is like someone very inexperienced in the heart matters, emotions, love, feeling connected to somebody. Kind of goes along the lines of you're going to meet somebody significant who it is going to be fulfilling some emotional needs, because I see a lack in that area. Like I said, I think your whole focus has been your success and your business. Now the Two of Clubs came out with that, and that's very interesting because this talks about partnerships. Balance and harmony in the partnership arena. And I think it goes without saying, you're feeling, whoever this reading resonates with, you're feeling very new at the whole dating game thing. You know, you're not used to putting yourself out there or even thinking that it was a possibility. The Two of Clubs also talks about the need for communication. So I think communicating your needs in the emotional area, whether you're hooked up or not, you could already be in a relationship with somebody like for a long time, because the spouse energy I was sensing over here, there's a need for communication. The Jack of Hearts, in the case that if you are hooked up in a committed relationship already, that you are still very inexperienced on how to navigate through that relationship effectively. Does that make sense? Like, you have never really worked on the emotional aspects of what it means to be in a long-term relationship with somebody. Because it's one thing to kind of fall in love or date for a long time and feel obligated to get married or really want to get married, but then after, like, as they say, the honeymoon wears off and the newness of it wears off, you fall into a rut and a routine with somebody. It's almost like you're kind of stuck in that somebody out there is stuck in that scenario of really needing to work on relationship stuff and mature, because this Jack is honestly, it's an immature energy. It's somebody who lacks experience, who lacks wisdom for sure, and is immature. Not because they're an immature jerk, but just because they have no experience. They haven't grown up. And there's a need for communication, and relationships certainly require communication if they're to be successful, and if they are to work for the long term. I'm not a believer that we need to like hook up with somebody and stay with them our whole entire life. I just will put that out there, but I also feel, and this card popped out, before I flip it over, I want to finish my thought with this. I also feel that it's an indication if someone can stay in a long-term commitment, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, it's a very good indication of their social skills. If they have never had a long-term relationship, I think it's a red flag. I'm not saying that's you, because I'm actually sensing that this could pertain to somebody who has been involved with somebody for a long time, which means there's hope for you to grow emotionally. You know, if the relationship has been stagnant, I don't think it's all lost. I think there's a potential for it to grow. That's what I'm trying to say. And you have the Four of Spades. Again, we're talking about a very secure home life, stability and satisfaction. This is also the card of stress relief. So that fact that came out on the Jack of Hearts, you know, being inexperienced at relationships, the Two of Clubs needing for communication and stress relief, I think that indication there is that if you work on those things, this will bring stress relief in the home, and your stability and your sense of security will increase, will improve. I think I'm going to wrap it up there, but there's a lot of messages in this. There's a lot of messages in this. Like I said, I think that wraps it up pretty well, what I just said about needing to communicate, needing to grow emotionally. I think there's a strong need for that. You've been focusing on the career, business, success, all of that stuff for a good while. You're very successful now, so you've reached that. Apparently there might be some kind of hemorrhaging of finances, either personally or in business, because there's cards here about stress and disappointment. It's possible that the disappointment comes from the stress that you've been experiencing of late. I just got that. Like, the business itself is not as fun as it used to be. You're not enjoying it as much. That kind of thing. But you need to take some financial responsibility, because we had that very clear Six of Diamonds with the Joker card of naivety. Like, I think this is a very new phase of your life, and you're experiencing some very new things. You're not enjoying your work like you once did, and you are feeling a need to concentrate on long-term relationships, that kind of thing. And if this partner, if you are hooked up with somebody and this partner turns out that you're not compatible, or that relationship breaks down, there's potential for you to meet the right, well, not necessarily the right person that's going to stick around, but a person who's going to help you grow, because you had that Six of Hearts and the Eight of Hearts down there, and socializing. There's definitely a highlighting. You need to be more social, relax, have fun, and you also need to watch your spending. So I'm gonna wrap it up there. I don't know what that means for someone personally, but if it fits, you take what fits. If it doesn't fit, throw it out. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see when the next video comes out, I might do a bonus for August, but I'll definitely be back in September if there's no bonus. Hit notifications so you'll be notified when that comes out, okay? Okay, Aries, you take care until I see you again.